All right. I
Ew.
think we're live. Yeah, we're live. Welcome, Luke. Luke.
Got my red dot. That's how I know.
Red dot. So I am getting my B footage going right there. You taught me that to get the other camera rolling at the same time to get that vertical footage. So I wanted to
You
hold
got
off on
merch?
telling you what I was. What'd you say,
I said you got merch?
dude? I got merch. I've had that for a little bit.
That's fresh.
Iron on. So I just got the shirts to the iron in and done
Okay.
that. So part of what I'm going to do with the Semper Ruck is when I do issue that committed tier, is that it's the membership tier that I have it baked in that when someone hits an achievement that there are certain things that they get. They get a certificate, they get
Yeah.
a shirt, and I envision that the merch can't be purchased. The merch can only be earned. So
Yeah.
if you
Love that.
see somebody out there walking around, it's not because they just bought a t-shirt.
Right.
It's because they
I
flat
love
out
that.
earned it. One of which is, and I just thought about this today as I was on my ruck. The there's a there's a tier that's called hump. And in order to hit that hump tier, you have to do at least a 45-pound load with a 6 miles, and your pace has to be sub 18 minutes. I think it's sub 18 minutes. I'll have to go back and check. I haven't really launched it yet, and I'm training beyond that. And when you achieve that tier, we're going to have like a Velcro patch because that's kind of standard within the military and the rucking community. They have these like ceremonial patches that are
Okay.
specific to certain things. So you'll get a patch, but then I'm thinking I'm going to get a shirt that says "Real Ruckers Hump" as opposed to, and that's just, most people won't know what that is. I think the word hump has a different connotation tied to it, so it'll probably get people like, number one, what's rucking? Number two, hump. What does that mean? But that's what I
It's a, it's a versatile word. So do the patches go on the actual ruck
yeah.
or the weighted vest?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, when you look at the
Love that.
military, they typically have
Yeah.
Velcro on their shoulders that you can have a unit
Right.
patch on your jacket, on your uniforms. It's not uncommon to have it on the actual ruck itself.
Right. Yeah, no, I love that, dude. Great way to
So,
gamify the system.
and I
Earned.
and I purposely don't want to turn it into a profit merge. I'm doing everything based off of kind of my sentiment on things, and coming up into the martial arts, you're spending so much money per month. It was more of a, to add on to that you have to pay an additional fee to attend like a belt test. I'm like, that's stupid. That should be all inclusive. You're working towards something. There should be some sort of, like, granted there's a hard cost to a belt, but it's minimal. It's
Right.
you can bake that into the actual program itself. So
Yeah.
that's my envision here. When I launch the committed version, it's going to be like $98 a month, all inclusive. But you're getting a program, you're getting the AI gunny, you're getting, there's a lot of things you get, and I'm not going to nickel and dime people for these achievements that they hit.
Yeah.
Now that's where that's where I stand. That's my intent. We'll see as we start rolling this out what that looks like. But you're going to be getting an invite this weekend to the group to download the app. You have to do test
Yeah.
flight and then kind of jump into it. And then I need you to start testing it to see the onboarding and such.
Cool. I'm pumped, man.
So, anyways, here's what I was doing beforehand that I didn't want to tell you before I came on here. So, I've been doing, I've been getting a lot of traffic, on a lot of growth, a lot of views on YouTube for the Rucking channel. And what I've been doing is I haven't been sitting down and talking to the camera like what we're doing here. I've been coming up with topics. I've been using vidIQ. I've been using Claude Code. I've
Hmm.
been using Answer the Public, but not directly because Claude Code has been able to model. I do use vidIQ with their API integration or their connectivity, but as far as Answer the Public with what Neil Patel came out, they just modeled what it does, so it's built into the topics, and so that's how it's coming up with all of the topics that I'm using, and then I'm just when I'm out, I'm just recording.
Yeah.
I do one landscape and I do one vertical. Well, I have it down so far, and this ties into what you and I had talked about, I don't know, a year or so ago, that I have it on my phone. I download it onto my external hard drive. I plug it into my desktop. I go into Claude Code, and I just say process these videos. And so what it's doing now, it's going to take it. It's going to put it onto my. I went and got a 4 terabyte hard drive, so that's where all the content's stored, and then it runs the editing. So it's going to run a whisper. It's going to transcribe everything. It reduces. So think of everything that we used to do manually on Descript. It
Right.
does it on the back end. It takes all the silences. It removes it down to anything more than 3 seconds. It cuts. It does this zoom pop. So every cut is like a zoom in and out. It
Right.
throws the captions on it, and it does the karaoke style captions on it, and then it uses I connect it to Go High Level, and so it puts it onto the social calendar. So the shorts are all the posts and the shorts that works through High Level, but I have a direct API access into YouTube as well, where it does the long form posts, and that launches every Saturday. So I quite literally took probably, dude, I'm saving at least 20 hours a week.
Right.
Now, is it perfect?
No.
No, no, it's not perfect. But it's 20 hours a week that I've saved. Oh, and then it launches the long form on Saturday. The next day, it launches a pod. Excuse me, my blog post that uses the video as the thumbnail, and then it has the pre-written blog. So I do have to review everything. So after this, I have in my schedule that I have to review all of next week because it sets up all of the next 7 shorts that go out and all of the and I have to look at the long and the blog post. But it turns into just a review, edit, push a button. Like
Love it,
everything that
dude.
you and I talked about a year ago or so,
Right.
it's like a reality.
It's in there. Freaking love it.
It's
The
crazy.
so your individual videos from your phone, are you using like a Apple shortcut to push that stuff over into next steps or
Thank you for bringing that up. I'm not. I tried configuring it to go directly to the 4 terabyte hard drive,
Mhm.
and it wouldn't recognize it. So I couldn't figure out how to do that. But now that you brought that up, I will it will recognize my I think it's a one or 2 terabyte SanDisk Extreme SSD that I just bring
Yeah.
it down to. So I think that's what I'll do. Because what I've been doing now is I've just been, and really it's only going to save me a step. What I've been doing is at the end of each session, I just hit select on all of in my photos.
Yeah.
And like today I had 4 photos. I had a picture of my weight. I had a picture of a screenshot of my app. And then I had a
Mhm.
vertical, and then I had my long form. So I just did that, and I did like 3 clicks, saved a file. I chose the file, put it onto the Extreme hard drive, unclicked it, put it into my Mac Mini, and then put in Claude Code. It's processing it in the back right now and it's not taking up the bandwidth here because
Yeah.
that's what the Mac Mini's for.
Okay, cool. Love it, dude.
So I got 2 weeks of content already dialed in. Already, I'm ahead 2 weeks
That's
on
nice.
things. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, having that forward focus review. I mean, it's like almost like a professional, Fortune 500 company where you have your like, it's you're not scrambling day of like, what am I going to come up with today? It's like, nope. Here's the next like 2 weeks. Here's my quarter. Here's my
Well, I did that with us as well.
yeah.
Is 5 minutes ago, I'm like, well, I got to go onto a podcast. What are we going to talk about? And I even just said, because remember, my second brain is indexing everything that we
Hmm.
have talked about and the content and such. So I had said, I have my weekly podcast with Luke in 4 minutes. Tell me what we should talk about. And it says lead topic. I let the AI ship code overnight and I found two bugs it never reported. So what's interesting with AI, especially when it comes to the Semper Ruck app, but there's other things that are running, is that it's kind of self-diagnostic,
Yep.
self-diagnosing now. Like it's identifying its own bugs and it's to the point where it's fixing its own bugs. Whereas I look at this as if we were working on something more than years ago, it's like I can't find what's wrong. Why is this not working?
Right.
And you just keep on to, it could be a day, it could be a week, month before you can
Yeah.
figure it out. So that was the first topic it said I should talk to. And it said the second block, and this is the honest one, the automation fired a bad video. Anyways, you have an approval gate on content. A short was flagged Tuesday as broken. Three fix options were on the table. Nobody picked one, and the scheduler published it. So I have a protocol in place that I don't become the bottleneck. And then
Yeah.
it's like, and you get busy, I get busy.
Yeah.
We're both traveling and such, and I'm not so concerned about content going out as much as I just want it to go out. Now I
Right.
want it to go out accurately, and I want it to be clean, and I want it to be good, but I also don't want it to interrupt the cadence.
Yeah.
So
Get it
it's like,
backlogged.
hey, we got a problem here. Hey, I'm serious. Hey, I didn't hear from you. I'm launching it anyways.
All right. Shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you there. I have a lot of that you know, check in deals where it's keep me in the loop type of a thing, but also let's make sure we don't get, don't lose momentum on things. And I'm obviously, me, I'm like I'm right there with you. It's like done is better than perfect. And if something's not horrifically off course, like it's just process of improvement over time.
It's funny that you brought that up because the conversations that you and I have had in the past is me adopting the whole done is better than perfect. And I don't know, did I ever tell you that I just redid not just redid, but I redid a disc assessment. This has happened. This is like within the last year, I did it. Within the last probably 6 months. Did I tell you that?
Hmm. No, I don't think
So
so.
So I'm a unique bird. I have two dominant traits. It's a high D, high C. They're
Okay.
polar opposites. Typically a high D is somebody who makes decisions really, really quick.
Hmm.
And then for whatever it's worth, it could be reckless, it could be awesome. But then you have the polar opposite of that of someone who's very compliant, who takes a really long time to just think things through. And so my personality actually rates high as both. Now, I don't know if it's nature or nurture. I think it's probably a little bit of both. But I'm a driver in as such that I make decisions quickly as long as I have a certain level of information.
Yeah.
But I'm also a compliance person that you're not going to pressure me until I have an X amount of understanding of what's
Right.
going on. But, and I was talking to someone who's discertified on my team last week. And I said, I genuinely in my mind, I have two voices going on when I'm on a decision. I'm like having this driver on this side and this one. It's like I'm having
That's
an
so funny.
internal dialogue with myself.
You got your two Brett consultants battling it
Yeah.
out. Like, let's
And
get this
Dana,
done. And like, hold on.
and apparently it's obvious because I'll just kind of go off in my own mind, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of just zoned out. And she's like, "What are you thinking about?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "I can tell."
Yeah, I no, I see you've
You've probably
paused.
seen it too, yeah.
You've completely paused what we're doing here, and you are running the Yeah, no,
And
I love
I
that.
think Elon Musk does that more. I mean, I'm not comparing myself to him by any level,
Yeah,
but you can see when he's being interviewed that he'll just pause and he's just processing it. He's
yeah,
having that internal dialogue with
yeah.
himself.
No, I genuinely like that, and it's like a whenever I see things like that, it's always a good reminder for me to, like, slow down. Like, you don't have to respond so quickly to, everything all the time. Um, and I love, watching those wheels turn. He comes up with some zingers after that, 30-second pause. I saw
Have,
another one like that too that was really cool. It was either like I want to say it was maybe Steve Jobs or like yeah, but it was another one of those types of situations where it was like this long pause before answering, and it's like okay, yeah, that's meaty there.
have you
I'll have to
have
look
you hit
that
his
up.
book yet? Have you listened to his book yet?
Steve or
Elon
or
Musk
Elon?
and Jobs.
No, I have not.
Dude, it's like War and Peace. It's so long, but um, I listened to it.
Yeah,
It's a great read. Listen, it's a great book.
right.
And it really does give you an insight into the way that the dude thinks. And there's a section in there of when he was going through the acquisition of Twitter. So like all of this stuff that's just going on, it's a snapshot of time. So I would encourage you to check it out because it makes everything that he says and does a lot more interesting because now there's a back end context to it.
Yeah. Which I imagine that's probably only like 5% of the whole story too, like what he actually put in there.
Yeah. And
Because it's like,
it was written by
oh,
Walter Isaacson, who's a great biographer. He actually did Steve Jobs as well, and
okay,
a lot of other. I think he also did. Well, he's done a lot of biographies, very well respected. But in fact, I think I'm after we talked about this. I think I'll probably start that over. You know, you get so much more after the first read into the second one.
I'll add it on the list. I'm glad you mentioned the audio version because I couldn't imagine myself reading War and Peace. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
dude,
can
it's like
listen.
30 chapters.
I can listen on a rock, but speaking of rocks, I need to get a weighted vest. I still have yet to pull the trigger on that.
Okay, so here's my thing on weighted vests. In fact, my next video is going to actually I have a lot of videos on it. Um, the fitness industry has termed rucking as just walking with weight. That's a very oversimplification of the actual process. I think at its core, yes, it is true. You are walking with weight. Um, but when you start looking at it from a rucksack versus a vest adds weight and it's
Hmm.
dispersed around your whole body. It's like being 15 pounds heavier. You're
Yeah,
carrying more weight. You're carrying it, but a ruck has more benefits to it because it fixes your posture. If you're sitting at high, in order to counterbalance the weight, you have to lean forward. You have to crunch your abdominals and your obliques. It's really great for everything. So I would encourage you not to just get a vest. Now, a vest has its uses. Like I think CrossFit people use vests. They do it with push-ups. They do it with pull-ups and such. So it's for that extra weight, and you will burn more calories by using a vest over a ruck. But there's added benefits to rucking, having weight up high on your back,
yeah,
and from like you'll notice that if you just did rucking, I can speak from experience is that even if you did no sit-ups or crunches, you're going to find that you increase the level of the time on plank, on you just increase your abdominal or core strength just because of the fact that you have to adjust to
Right.
carry the weight, and there's a lot of benefits to it. So that's my recommendation.
Beautiful. How about we take it one step further and I just outsource the thought process and shoot me a link to something that's good. I'm
Okay,
sure you got I'm sure you got your if you haven't done so, you could start working on your affiliate links for products. So that'll
so I'm just gonna send you a list of everything that I got, like what
okay.
I now. You know my story. I started with that
Yeah,
extra laptop bag in my closet, and I went
right.
and got duct tape and bricks from Home Depot, and that's how I started. That's not
Love
what
it.
I'm going to send you.
I can no, that's going on the wall and be like, listen, you just got to start.
I was looking at my bricks because they're still there. I still use the bricks
if
because
you
every
haven't
brick
made
is like 5 pounds.
if you haven't made
So
content on that yet, you need to.
I do. It's actually my best performing. I was at Home Depot and I took a picture. I just walked them through on, cheap ruck weight. It's like 10 cents a pound. It's
Oh, I
it's
love
probably
that.
15 cents now, but it has like 1,000 views on it or something like that.
Beautiful.
And that was
Good job,
done
man.
years ago. Yeah. But so I got to tell you, I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for the AI. And kind of going into our space, how you're working with mortgage professionals, I work with real estate professionals. I look at where I'm at and like the evolution of things. I think everybody's gotten to the point where they're using chat, whether they're on Chat GPT, Claude, Grok,
Yeah.
they're communicating it back and forth. They're getting information from it that way. I think that next step is it in the evolution, which I find a lot of real estate professionals don't do. I mean, I just came back from Vermont and many of them still didn't know Claude. Everyone's just using Chat GPT. They don't know the other options that are available.
Right.
But co-work would be that next level, I think, because it
Yeah.
it it engages. It's on your laptop. It has a user interface. It works on your email. It works on your calendar. That's perfect. But that next step, which is where I feel that saying that the person who uses AI is going to take your job, that's where I think things are at. I am in VS Code most of the day because everything is running with it. I'm searching the internet with it. I'm having a conversation with it. I have multiple things running at any given time. My 8 GB Mac Mini is barely okay. Like it's an M1 Mac Mini. I'm waiting to see in 2015, they're supposed to come out with another new Mac Mini with the M5 chip. So once they do that, I'm going to max out the RAM and I'm going to get that because having a machine at home downloading into an 8 TB drive, and I'm going to have to expand that probably in the next 4 months. I think
Yeah.
maybe 4 to 6 months, and then using any type of virtual thing on the backup. It's crazy, dude. Like it's wild. I built a Semperruck app. Building an app is all about just saying, "Hey, I have this idea," and as long as you're feeding in that second brain, it's getting all these details. It's indexing it from like a
Hmm.
wiki style. It's just like, "Oh yeah, that's a really great idea. I did this, and this. Check it out. Here's
Yeah.
a web app for you to check out." Now
Yeah.
it took time to do that. I had to go and get API
Yeah.
keys, and there's a setup to it, but
It's an iteration process. You're,
and go high
nothing
level with
happens.
what what you and I talked about. This had to have been more than a year ago. Was when that social calendar came out. That's like the key. That was like a really valuable key. That dude, you know, I, I'm going to say something that you're going to make fun of me for, because I told you I was going to start previewing property. Well,
Hmm.
I haven't previewed property because I genuinely haven't had the time. And it's not the time to preview the property, it's the time everything else downstream. I eliminated it.
Right.
So and that's something that you could do to your clientele, is to just eliminate the whole back end of it to a like a 90 degree. We talked about this last time about me saying that your content person's days are numbered. They better start figuring something else out to be more valuable because
Yeah. I'm a lot of that stuff is what we've been focusing on training them is like uh and I forget what they call it. There's like an actual like term, but it's like where are those aha moments? Where are the hooks? Like finding that stuff to because it's still what like AI is just. I mean, unless you're doing start to finish, creating video.
it does that.
Um,
It's going to do that with this video. So
yeah,
once we're done with
it's
this, I'm going to follow that same process. I'm going to put it on my external. I'm going to put it in my Mac Mini, and then on the back end, it's going to transcribe everything, and then it's using vidIQ, and it's using what I've taken from Neil Patel's site, and it's gonna run it through that.
yeah. I still find it's not quite there. Like pulling out the hooks, moving the hook in front,
True, it's not 100%
restructuring the
there.
content, like so that's where probably the majority of like our effort, on the content front is focused on like, hey,
Yeah,
your job is to like you could still do the transcript, right? Like and it's like find the hooks. Just where the hooks here and
yeah,
then use those as like the anchor. So anyway,
yeah. All right, brother. We are at
beautiful.
time.
Let's
So,
rock and
all
roll,
right.
man.
See you next week.
Adios.
Bye.